Thank you for joining us. This is the Fury of Dracula 2025 League of Dracula, brought to you by Nomad Games, Games Workshop, not a sponsor. Thank you for joining us for what should be an excellent game. Today we've got Aerolb versus Tarvala, who will be playing Dracula. And joining me is a very, very special guest, no stranger to the channel, and always glad to have him here. Everybody say hello to Pizza Wizard. Pizza Wizard, say hi to the nice folks at home.
Hi guys, I'm glad to be here with you all as well. I think we have an exciting game ahead of us.
I think so.
Not brought to you by Nomad Games. We just like those. They're just a bunch of cool people.
They certainly are. They're a good bunch, those guys. Yeah, so we got Aerol, who's been playing for a long time now, Tarvala, who's been playing for a long time now, but perhaps it might not be untrue to say that both are still a little unproven or the like. What do you think of that? Am I forgetting any major accomplishments here?
Well, I think neither of them have had great tournament success in the past, but Aerol is very experienced. They've been playing this game for at least a year. I feel like they've been here for a long, long time. So I have good amount of respect for Aerol and his experience. Tarvalar, I think, is newer, but has been playing a lot of games recently, and I feel like they are a diamond in the rough. They're a dark horse, in my opinion. I think they're going to play better than the record would suggest just because they haven't played a lot of games in tournaments yet. I think that there's some gold there that we just haven't seen yet. I think it's going to be close.
I think you're onto something there. I think these guys might be nearing their well, I don't want to say their peak because there's always room for improvement, but they're ready to prove that they're over that learning curve and that they're two guys to be taken really seriously here.
Their best is yet to come, let's say.
Absolutely. They're on the up and up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
as far as this start goes, this is the superhero start, right? This is the Wakajic sponsored. We want to put Mina in Madrid and Van Helsing and Seward together so that they can supply and get Seward like super pumped up, right? That's the general vibe from the start.
Yes, that seems to check out. The only question really is whether to put Mina in Madrid or put her in Bordeaux. I kind of like Madrid because Dracula can't go to there and put down bats. But, I mean, as soon as you move off
Yes.
of it, if he has the luxury, he'll probably do just that.
I agree with you. I think that Mina by herself at all is maybe too weak, but I agree that if you're going to do it, I think she's got to be in Madrid. If she's in Bordeaux, she just does not have the stopping power that Seward does. Like, if she goes from Bordeaux into 34, there's going to be a bat there, if possible, every game, right? The Dracula's just going to do that because Mina is so weak to getting pushed into a vampire and just die. Especially because she's by herself, right? She's not likely to have her items. Looking at her right now, she has a Holy Bullets, right? That is not the item I want Mina to be having when she's alone in Spain, potentially facing down Draculas.
Yeah. What I do like about this though is that Dr. Seward and Godalming aren't really so far away as you would think. Like if they're in 10, like in Bucharest or something like that, it might be a little different. But from Vienna, if you get the horses cooking, I mean, in 2 days you're in Toulouse if you hit them both right.
I mean, even better than the horses, you hit that rail line to 25, and then you only need to roll good horses one time.
Or, you could even rail to 25, move to 36 on a regular move, and, it's not quite as quick, but you're still threatening Saragossa at that point with a good train ticket. You're not really too far away, unless, of course, Dracula puts down a hoax. They're probably not going to get to something like that in time.
Right. The initial trail is definitely the responsibility of whoever is in Spain, because I think we can both agree, no matter what we think at the start, they are at least 2 days away from being anywhere near Spain, right? Like, not like maybe they charge carriage to 36, like maybe they can get there faster with events, but if we're just counting on regular movement that we expect them to have most games, probably going to be at least 2 days before they can do anything, before they can like really engage.
Whereas, like, the reverse side of the coin is that if Dracula starts in the east, you know, he starts near like Athens. I don't know what kind of crazy Dracula would start in Athens, but you know, it's been known to happen. Start in
I
Athens,
think
or
it's not
maybe
bad.
maybe
I believe.
Varna or something like that. If you do something like
Mhm.
that, trying to get Van Helsing over there or trying to get Mina over there is like a huge pain in the butt. They're gonna take ages to get there.
Well, and the plus side about this start though is that you have, I think, what are the two most capable physical like fighter encounter dealers. Like Seward and Godalming both have more HP. They have the most HP, the two of them. I mean, I guess Mina's tied with John Seward, but his ability to heal twice as fast essentially gives him more HP if he's in like
Yeah,
a slog against a trail.
yeah.
Um, but so let's say like Dracula is in Varna right now, I'm not particularly worried about getting Mina over there to deal with the trail, right?
Right.
I'm happy to send Godalming and Seward to do it, and then just bring Mina in the back to like provide support against Dracula, maybe like cover a key location like Munich so we can't move through it. Um,
Thank you, Scott Sword,
so
for doing some of the
so
like.
that is nice.
Yeah, that's the strength of the setup. Really, is you can back her up, but she doesn't necessarily need to get moving anytime soon to back up the gentlemen because they're more than capable.
I guess my argument is just if you put them both in the East, how many people are going to start in the East? Now, I know in the past people have started in the East into this setup, but I feel like if I'm a Dracula player and I see Mina by herself in Spain, I just want to go Spain. Like I just want to do that like 8 times out of 10, probably. Like, and maybe that's too predictable, and you need to try to do something else to like be sneaky because he hired scouted, I believe, like Toulouse and Bari on like day 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Toulouse is an interesting choice. I guess you think that he has his first space there, so he can move to Saragossa, and he doesn't want to be proximity to Mia, and he wants to leave Barcelona open for maybe later movement. So the Toulouse check actually, I think, is pretty reasonable.
Oh, there's
Um,
newspapers. That's
he
Constanta.
did start in the East. Okay, so I'm eating my words right now. Apparently, they do like starting in the East, and Tarvala are not happy about it. No, because he's Dracula, that's why he's not happy about it.
Well, who
I was
could
like,
be?
why are the hundred? Yeah, the day three newspapers or day four newspapers hitting the third space is wrong.
Yeah, but so many of the best games start out this way. Things kick off really
Yeah,
quickly, and the disadvantage. Of course, it's always an advantage to know where Dracula is as opposed to not knowing where he is. But for Dracula, I mean, the plus side is that what are they going to do about it? You know, do they have the heavenly hosts to deal with your soil? Do they have the stakes yet to deal with your vampires? Do they have the horses to even get there in time? You can now
I mean,
try to use some of this information against them, perhaps, by sneaking, sneaking further away.
that's true. I would say though that if you're trying to do a strategy like that, where like you're in item deprivation, Godalming and Seward are both uniquely suited to have the most items and the best items in the game, right?
True.
Godalming is drawing twice as many as anybody else, so he's more
Yep.
likely to have good ones. Seward can
That
hold an
Welsh.
extra item. So if you're counting on them not having something, you do not want the Seward Godalming trio two duo that you're trying to hope doesn't have something, because they're the two people most likely to have something. The other problem, which I'm seeing Aerolb play into right now, is that you can just rail twice to Constanta, right? It is
Mm-hmm.
just 4 rails away. So he doesn't even need anything. He just needs a ticket. A
Mm-hmm.
yellow two yellow two tickets, which on Godalming, not hard to do. He's moving both of them east.
That's why I think
Hmm.
I think Varna is a strictly better location for your first encounter because there's an extra rail line to get there. However, that also makes it much more predictable.
Yeah, I feel like it almost feels like bait. Like he didn't rumor token it, right? And he didn't rumor token it
Newspapers again.
before the
Oh,
news.
there's the hide in Varna. Okay. Yeah, you got a point there. You know, you could put, say, a hoax or a saboteur in Constanta, right? And then they go there and now they're delayed and now your Varna play goes through, ideally.
Mhm. I think that is the ultimate Dracula greed. Is they hope that they can mature the hoax and get the rumor token tied card off, and but also even if you can't get both, right? If you're gonna stop the hoax, that's probably gonna cost you a delay, or it's gonna cost you your save, and then maybe you can't deal with the vampire at all, right? Like
Right. They
these are
combo
real
nicely
concerns.
together. Yes.
Yeah, Tarvala, not Tarvala. You know, Tarvala is what I'm trying to say. Tarvala really unhappy about the second newspaper as well, I think. Because if you don't have that, I mean, the chance that he went to Varna is pretty high. But knowing that he went to Varna and seeing that there's a hide card there are two different
Hmm.
things. Now, Aerol can decide, does he have the time to deal with this, right? Because he knows exactly pretty much what it's going to take, because presumably there's a bats in Varna. So he has a lot of information now to kind of make informed decisions with Seward and Godalming. They're not going to kind of walk in there not knowing what's going on. He's going to choose, does he want to deal with Constanta? Does he want to deal with Varna? Kind of knowing what
Yeah.
he's going up against. And knowing that Dracula is in Sofia today, right?
Hmm. You could
Or is
also
now moving out of it.
you could send both the hunters in now that you know what's going on and commit more to it. Uh, yeah, those newspapers could be very informative. Big
Well, because, I
headline
mean,
today.
what do you do here? It looks like he's moving Godalming into Constanta,
Oh, if
right?
I'm
Oh, he's moving him
Dracula,
to Sofia. As Dracula, yeah. Like, when you're in Sofia,
as
you
Drac,
realize that they're probably going to go
yeah,
after Constanta Varna.
as Dracula, I'm in 49 already. I'm in Sarajevo, moving towards Munich.
Not a doubt in your mind. You're just like 49 is the obvious
Oh
choice.
yeah.
You just
Oh
want to
no.
get as far away from
Definitely.
them as possible.
Definitely. Because you know the hunter
Ooh.
movement at this point is fairly predictable. Don't get me wrong. Not 100% predictable. They might do something wacky. But those newspapers flip over Constanta, and now you know, okay, they're going to Constanta. They flip over Varna, and you know they're going to Varna. Now's your chance to make tracks and force them to have to move in the quote unquote wrong direction. I mean, not wrong, but away from Dracula, while Dracula continues to move away from them. You got to seize on the opening that you've created here.
Well, I'm not sure if
Oh,
Seward
there's the
wanted to
Dracula
go to 10.
marker. Look at this.
This is the forbidden technology right now that Harold's pulling
Oh,
out.
love it.
But, I mean, he's checked. He agrees to do that. He's in Sarajevo currently. Can Dracula see that marker? Do we know?
There is actually a house rule that you're supposed to either. I'm not sure. By default, I think he can, but you can enable the house rule so that he cannot see it.
Okay. The house
Um,
rule is not enabled, so this is some real mind games we got going on right here.
yeah, you trick Dracula. Oh, I'm pretty sure he's in 46. Yeah, I like the
It's
marker.
crazy.
I like the. I gotta say, credit to Nomad where it's due. I like the sort of diegetic nature of the marker. It actually looks like a little pin that somebody stuck down in a map, rather than being some
So,
purely digital construct.
something Harker is using maybe to track Dracula from the safety
Yeah,
of his home.
yeah, that could be it. I'm helping.
He's helping. Well, what I found interesting yesterday, and I don't know, Van Helsing didn't start in Edinburgh, by the way, right? He moved up there.
No, no, he didn't. Yeah.
So that was an interesting one. I'm not sure if we're trying to get to 27 specifically because the rail lines are better to get into the east from there. Unclear what arrow's going for there. The other thing that I found kind of interesting is that he didn't go to Constanta. He railed to Bucharest. And I don't know if that's because he didn't have the ticket to get to Constanta or he wanted to check Bucharest because he thought Dracula could be there.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, let's math it out. If Van Helsing goes to English Channel, next day he's in Le Havre, then on a primo train ticket, he could be in 16 on the third day. If he goes to Edinburgh first, then North Sea, then the third day he can only be as far as Hamburg. But by train, at least, although not by road, those are both equidistant from 44, right?
mhm.
So it's kind of, it really doesn't make a difference. Except for the
Well, it
fact
does
that
because
you
he
need the
used an
right train
action.
ticket. And yeah, that's a good point. He used an action to move that. I should have known better and to question your efficiency methods there.
Well, no. It's good to math it out, right? Because I didn't even think about that clearly. I was just
Yeah,
like, in my gut, I was
you're
like,
right.
that feels slow, but maybe
Well,
the
no,
difference is he will be in Germany faster.
yeah. Instead of using an action to supply, he used an action to move to Edinburgh. Or no, instead of using an action to move to the English Channel, he used it to go to Edinburgh. And then 2 days
So
later,
it's
he
like
was there.
delaying his movement. He's a delayed start in a race uh, penalty. No.
But yeah, let's get back to the issue at hand here. We did have a Bats
Oh.
Varna, and now Godalming's been pushed into a Reckless at night, so this is interesting.
Maybe this is an argument to have Godalming, or Mina
I
not
think
be here, because if Mina was here, this could have been her. If it
right,
was Mina
right,
and Godalming.
precisely. I think the best outcome you can hope for here as Dracula is mesmerize Fang and get the bite token.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you could in theory land double Fangs and get 2 IP out of that, but I think
And not now that he's mesmerized, though. Yeah.
not only is that hard to do. Ooh, there's the plotting.
Ooh.
Nice. But yeah,
that's
I
rough.
think the bite token is actually slightly more value there, because you take the 11 HP tank that is Lord Godalming and you turn him into kind of a crippled weakling.
Also gets you an extra point, I believe. So, oh no, I guess if you're getting 2 bites off, then you're getting 2
Right.
points.
Okay. I guess
either way.
best case scenario is Fang mesmerized, then Fang. But how are you gonna land all that?
Yeah, because Godalming tried to escape, right? So if he plays Fang turn 1 to try to get like maximum points, Godalming just leaves with 1.
Right.
So
Now comes the Fang.
Ooh.
Knife time.
I like.
Oh, it's Heavenly Host. Ooh, that's not good.
I see both sides of this combat, actually. I see why Aerolb plays Heavenly Host there, right? You're thinking that the vampire is not going to play Fang into some kind of a, anti-Fang item that you're going to throw out, right? And then on the vampire side, I see you play Fang because you're worried about exactly Heavenly Host, and you want to end it right now. Because no Fang item he plays is going to kill the vampire from 4 HP.
Right.
So...
Right. Okay, well, he stopped the
risk
hoax.
there. That's good. And, I mean, it's a coup, but he didn't actually lose the Heavenly Host there because he was mesmerized. So
he didn't.
It's not as bad as it looks. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mesmerize, Fang, Heavenly Host interactions are almost as tricky as once you throw a garlic wreath into the mix.
Oh, God, we don't need to go down that road.
So
but
what
yes,
if he was wearing a garlic wreath, Pizza Wizard? What would happen then?
If he's wearing a garlic wreath, then... nothing happens except the garlic wreath is discarded, because I believe garlic wreath specifically says, because it was too strong, that it only does the damage if they bite, if they deal damage,
yes.
Not a bite, in parentheses on the card, because they were worried it was too good, so they had to clarify.
Yeah.
So actually, garlic wreath would have done nothing but to get discarded there, which is what it always does when it's get played in combat. Anyway,
at least it kept the Heavenly Host. Then that could have been worse.
It could have been worse. I mean, it feels bad to be like mind gamed like that. Like, I think if the psychological impact of you play the Heavenly Host into the Fang, I would feel bad about misplaying the combat way. But I mean, if he plays anything now that doesn't stop Fang, the result is the same.
That's the thing, though. Now is you've got Godalming running around with a Heavenly Host that Dracula knows about, and he's got a bite token on him too. So it's pretty risky to throw that sucker out, and.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, it is pretty sucky to rumor. Sucky, right? Also, I didn't realize, because of the Bat and Hoax combination of delays, the vampire is maturing right now. If it is a vampire, which I assume it is. That's crazy. Right. I thought I would have been able to deal with it with 2 hunters, but no, because of the delay on the Hoax.
It's like we noticed earlier. Like
you said,
Hoax has good synergy with a vampire right next to it. Eats your steak or it delays you, and both are good outcomes when it comes to getting that vampire to mature. So now Dracula has 2 influence for ambushing and landing the Mesmerized Fangs combo for the bite token, and he's going to get possibly 6 or 7 more here.
Could you imagine if it was a Saboteur in Constanta and it had the same effect as a Hoax? You would have felt so bad. And it's the aristocratic maturing.
I had a feeling it was aristocratic. I don't know why, but...
It was well protected. The aristocratic vampires don't come out unless they have some serious protection and try to make sure they mature. If he didn't want them getting on that space at all.
Especially if you're going to rumor it. I mean, if you're not going to rumor it, it's sort of a different story, because you just kind of leave it there to act like a Saboteur and delay them.
Maybe eat a steak if they're just throwing out their steaks willy-nilly.
Yeah, precisely. And worst case scenario, hey, I got 4 points. But yeah, what a huge start. Scott Sword hit the nail on the head here. It's a great start for Dracula. It's really big play.
I do think... Go ahead.
Well, let's find out where he is next.
That's big.
Yeah.
So he did go 49-59 like you thought. The question is he still in the East right now? Because he could have very easily just gone to 55 or to
Mm-hmm.
6 or to 28 and be chilling in the East under the assumption that no one is going to be able to find him because there's just too many spaces to check.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which would be, I mean, now he's already moving his hunters back towards the west. So if he is in 28 and, he goes to 22, and they might not find him for a while, and by then a bunch of movement has been wasted.
Looks like he does have his horses under him because he did roll horses to even go from Sofia to Vara, which was a single movement like thing. He was only going to move one movement regardless of what he rolled there. I think probably unless he only moved one because he only rolled a yellow one. But and he also was moving horses with these other two. Makes me think the horse economy
Where to
is in good
search?
hands.
Oh, he didn't search. Stragus is the ally now.
I think I agree with that play. I think if you get Dracula in a fight, you need to be able to deal some damage to her. I think searching one space is not good enough. Unless you have a surprising return, and then I would
Hard to
immediately
say.
search.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the surprising return on you, I agree. I would probably just search immediately. That was a pretty risky move there. Oh no, well, not super risky. I mean, Dracula might have wolf formed to Zurich, but he's probably not still there if he had. But
I agree. You wouldn't move to Zurich after the wolf
you
form,
could have gone
probably.
41 then Zurich. I mean, if you're trying to be extra tricky, but yeah, that.
If you're like mapping out Mina's movement, you assume she's gonna
Mm-hmm.
move there, but I just think that it's like there's so many spaces she could check. Like she could have gone. Where was she at the start of the turn? She was at 15 at the
It's
start of the
like
turn.
you got your 9 points. You got a bite token. Why not just? I think the obfuscation is a bit more powerful at this point than trying to, bait them into a bad fight. I think you take
My pocket guess
take
right
a few
now,
days of
like
obfuscation.
my money is on Venice. I think he went Venice. I'm just putting it there right now. I think
Hmm.
went Venice.
Yeah, it's tough to say because on the one hand you want to move away from Seward and Godalming. On the other hand, Zagreb is a really good opportunity to do something tricky, like you said, to go to 55 or something like that. Uh, 44 isn't really out of the question either. Although that brings you a little closer to Van Helsing, so I don't know if I like that as much. Uh, but yeah, it's tough to say. I think
Because the grapple
30,
form is very good.
37 is probably a good call. Because it takes you. Mina couldn't get there.
Right. I mean, it's Dracula. I mean, he couldn't even be in. He could have gone to 28, right, and just like be in 22 right now and go to Bucharest. Like he could just still be in the Far East, or he could
Mm-hmm.
have gone to Valona. And maybe not Sofia. I think it only was in Sofia, so it couldn't have gone Sofia. But he could be Far East right now. Like there's nothing saying he isn't. We're just. I think Errol is taking the guess that he is a little bit far behind right now, and he's going to assume that Tarvala did not go in the East and check
Mm-hmm.
everything that's not there. It seems like
Mm-hmm.
what he's doing right now because he's preemptively moving people out of the East, right? Seward has spent like the last few turns just getting out of the East. So if he ends up being in like, I don't know, he went Valona, he moved to 46, he then moved back to Sofia once Godalming left. Like I think you're gonna look pretty silly, but sometimes you gotta just like take chances, right? You gotta say, I don't think he went east. That's my read is that he didn't, and you gotta, shoot your shot.
Agreed. It's a tough call. Because on the other hand, you could have just stayed there and supplied for a while.
Mhm.
But you've already seen 2 hired scouts. You've already seen 2 newspapers. What are you really hoping to get?
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of the information events were drawn early, and I think that Arrow probably feels under some amount of pressure to find this thing because he has 9 points. Now,
Mm-hmm.
this is a good start for Tarvala, right? It's definitely good for him, but I don't think this is like dire yet because the hunters
Mm-hmm.
haven't really spent a lot. They haven't really used any super powerful events to get here. They have a lot of like potential energy left in
True.
this game
True.
of actions they can do. The question is, will they get like cheesed by a wolf form they just can't find?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That would be a way they could lose. And I think that Errol's trying his best to make sure that won't happen by checking where he thinks that Tarvalar would have gone, which is somewhere in the west. Oh,
Oh,
but he's now doubling back. Okay.
having
He's
second
we're in his head.
thoughts.
Yeah,
This
he
is
tuned into
where.
the stream. He said maybe go east.
Maybe that's. Oh, okay. Bit of luck here. We found him in Genoa.
Feels like a Venice to me then,
With
unless yeah, it must have
with
been Venice.
Florence or Hyde, yeah. I, this is where it becomes a tricky question about the superhero start, because Mina is best when paired with another hunter because of the ease of use of Psychic Bond. And if a Psychic Bond right after that wolf form might have told you if
Oh,
Dracula was
does
near
Mina have
or
heroic leap?
east.
Mina is just running right at Dracula right now. I
He's
think
just
Marseille
going
is a very
for it.
telegraphed move after Genoa. Like, I don't think it's surprising that he's there.
No, not in the
Um,
slightest. Pistol and knife, okay.
she must have heroic
That's a
leap,
lot
right?
of information for Dracula. Heroic
She does
leap.
have heroic leap. Okay, that makes a lot of
Okay,
sense.
we're back in the game all of a sudden.
Mhm.
I mean, but on the plus side, we know everything Mina has, including events.
Yes. Gun, knife. I mean, you have to reveal, I think, at least one there so you don't die.
Oh,
Revealing
yeah,
both of them
especially
does make sense. You
Oh, I
don't.
mean, you're about to heroic leap him. Yeah, you can't afford all that damage.
Oh, because Godal,
Seward's
Dracula could feed right now.
delayed.
He probably won't. He probably won't. Even though Seward's delayed, I think Van Helsing. I mean, Van Helsing could probably get there with renewed vigor. It would not take a lot. It would take essentially. Oh, it would take like sense of emergency or a unrevealed horse that we don't know about yet. Maybe Dracula does feed here and tries to kill Mina. It's rough though with Agatha out.
Yeah, Agatha's
I
gonna throw a
see.
wrench in things.
But I think with Seward delayed, it's on the table. I think if Seward isn't delayed, you would never do it. It would be way too risky. But with Seward delayed, options are available.
I wonder if perhaps a better call might have even been to not choose to become delayed to kill the aristocratic, because
Mm.
that would have at least threatened Dracula with a 2-on-1.
Daryl might actually not be sad to see Dracula feed here. Like, even because Mina did get killed, so she's now at 5. 5 is kind of a lot. He can't just kill her from 5 indiscriminately, I don't think.
Yeah, but it's Mina. You know, you catch her with a mesmerize. She's probably gonna play the pistol afterwards, or the knife,
Or
if
if,
she fears.
but he can't fang her
fangs.
during the day, yeah. Like, it's a dawn fight, so the Mina vulnerability isn't really an issue.
Yeah, you're right, but you could strength her down maybe, or even claw her down.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think with
I agree.
I think with
It's
Agatha it's a lot riskier, you know, because between pistol and knife, you kind of don't really know what to play. Do you claw her? Do you fang her? Do you strength her and she just escapes?
getting a wolf form from there would be really nice for Dracula, but I think the issue is that's never going to happen because Mina's not going to stick around if Van Helsing can't get there, right? She would just move.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, you'd fight her in the dawn and then she'd just leave.
It feels really bad as Errol. Like, I don't even think it was necessarily a bad move to go moving back to the. Maybe it's bad to go west and then go back east just to go back west. But I think that at the time there was some worry that potentially he had been east. So it feels bad to like move him out just to move him back because Seward found him on the next day. I do think that it speaks to maybe picking a path and sticking to it because being indecisive can really hurt you. Like if you essentially said, "I don't think he's in the east."
See,
You shouldn't abandon that logic until it's impossible, and it wasn't impossible yet.
this will be a good psychic bond because it's going to eliminate 3 different cities. Unless she's just actually going to heal.
I just feel like he definitely went to 15 or 54 because I don't think he wants to be near Godalming. But maybe, I mean, 60 would also make 60 is pretty well connected. He's got to live a whole another like week and a half. He can't just like move on land while all 400s are converging on him with horses. You know, he's got to
I think that
get some distance
that
somehow.
would be pretty risky when you're this far ahead.
So I'm thinking 54, maybe 15 if we're feeling, you know, spicy and we want to threaten to go to the sea.
She rests. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like Psychic Bond.
I feel like you don't
wouldn't
really
hate
move her
it.
there unless you're gonna psychic bond. Like I just would have supplied in Marseille. Like she heals twice as fast, but it's not worth moving her potentially away from Dracula.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's
you have to deal with this encounter here, and if Godalming only comes up with a 1 on his horse, he can't get to Venice in time. Or what if it turns out it was... Oh no, he did go to 37, okay. Or he didn't, I should say. Yeah, what if Godalming gets to Venice and there's a hide card there, and then there's a vampire and it matures and it's game over?
I guess I would argue that I think Seward can handle it by himself, but now he has actually rolled the yellow 1, so maybe he will be really happy that he will have the option to move Mina there. But if Mina's in Marseille, she can still horse to Venice, right? Like, if everything goes wrong, she still has a decent chance to get to Venice.
Yeah, but what if there's a bats there? Okay, Toulouse.
Well, okay, the obvious move is sometimes the correct one, right? Tarvala's got a big lead. He doesn't want to throw it away because the Hunters accidentally walk onto him and like something crazy like Geneva.
Yeah, sneak away to Alicante or something like that, and then go to sea.
The big question is, did he just go straight to Saragossa afterwards, or did he like? Barcelona feels crazy. I don't think he would do that.
You always go to Bordeaux first because you can turn it into a lair.
Mm-hmm.
If you can afford it.
I do like a good fog, there.
There's the strength on the knife. Wow, first turn strength.
Yeah. And it worked out.
Mm-hmm. You get lucky.
Good read by Tarvala.
Yeah, or who knows? There's always the hand situation. It's interesting to me how, like, with Dracula opens up with 2 strength in his hand, he's pleased his punch. But when you're ambushing with a vampire, that's kind of the last thing you want.
Tarvala is playing very unconventional right now. I think that if I see a knife come down like that, like, you play the Fang because the knife's down, yes. But I think that, you know, Aerolb could have escaped there and he punched because presumably he thought the Dracula was mesmerizing, right? That's why he punched there.
That's like the same as punching in the first round, though. It's one of those punch first people.
It's really unfortunate. Dracula gets to play first, but he's almost playing second here because he's seeing what the Hunters have played last round and then reacting to it so that they can't really counter his move, right? Like, he plays Fang after knife. He plays Mesmerize after punch.
Yeah, absolutely.
So even though he's playing first, it's almost like he's like playing more reactively than the Hunters are right now, even though he's going first, because he's just playing based on what they're not able to, like, affect.
Which is where manipulating the vampire in combat comes into play, and that's where things like Crucifix come into play, or Heavenly Host to stop the Mesmerize.
Right, like, you play a punch on purpose, maybe thinking that they, you know, if they mesmerize, great. If they don't mesmerize, you know, now they'll,
I'm sure to be mesmerized.
Throw on the mesmerize next turn, yeah, because I can't stop it, right, Dracula? Bam, there's a Crucifix.
Right, exactly. Okay, he escapes as a mist here.
That's a big win for Dracula. He got a point there, which was pretty huge, and Seward took, you know, 4 damage, which is not insignificant. So I would call that a win. And you found out Seward had a knife and a pistol. So lots of info gained, lots of damage done, and even an influence point gained. I don't know, that vampire right there is working overtime.
Now is Van Helsing about to go to Bordeaux? Looks like he is.
He's not in Bordeaux. He's definitely in Saragossa, right? Yeah. Okay. So Mina is staying back to deal with Venice. This makes me think she maybe has stayed. Wait, hold on. We know she doesn't, right? She has horse, unless she gave it to Seward.
Horse. Oh, right.
Because Seward didn't horse out. He just moved by rail.
A knife. Maybe she traded with Seward for a stake or something.
That must be what's happening. Because Seward didn't have a horse before. He was moving by rail the whole time. So I think he probably got his horse from Mina.
Maybe you just roll the dice and hope it isn't a vampire. It is a vampire.
Oh no, bro! What are we?
That means she has to kill it, or it's game over.
I mean, she has at least 1 knife. I would imagine she also probably has a Heavenly Host. That would be my assumption, because we're actually not even that far into the deck.
So unfortunate though, because Reckless Vampire knows that all it has to do is survive this fight. That's it. If it can just strengthen Mesmerize its way to surviving the fight, it wins. So his path to victory in this combat is very, very obvious for him.
Yeah. Is there a Heavenly Host? Yes, there is. Okay, thank God.
Alright, game will go on.
Yes, that was very close to being very bad for the Hunters. I mean, it was rough for Aerolb, right? He tried to get Godalming there, I assume, but Godalming rolled the yellow 1 like he said, so he just could not manage it. Mina coming in clutch here. But I think without a Heavenly Host, it's very hard to kill that vampire, especially if you take a claw to the face. So now it's threatening to kill you with the second claw. Um,
Now we have to deal with
wow.
Florence, and Toulouse will have to be dealt with. You can't let any of these go through. You can't even let a new vampire go through. 3 points will win it.
Well, we are running out of fighter vampires. There's only the two new ones left that we haven't seen because we've seen there was a Reckless in Sophia and two more here in Toulouse. But you're right, that is a lot of vampires to kill. I think we haven't seen any stakes either, though. So we only see one the discard pile. So the stakes are there, waiting. I assume Godalming is going to go deal with Florence because I think sending the other at 3 HP is a bad idea. You'd think.
Yeah,
But then again, maybe he'll roll slow again.
I think you have to at this point. You have to send him there.
I think the hunters just want this game to like slow down a little bit. They just want
Yeah.
to slow down. They want to kill the encounters. The heroic leap on Dracula was really good, right? Now, if Dracula goes to sea, the health is like actually it might be a problem, especially if they get a Rufus sometime between now and when he goes to sea, because he's at 9. He goes to sea, he's at 7. You know, presumably he's going to want a wolf form when he lands, so that's like essentially 6.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a Rufus
And
out,
he's
he can only move 2 sea spaces.
Yeah, he's gonna have to move more than 1 sea space too. So probably go ahead and call that 5 by the time he lands.
Yeah. And then he's paper thin, right? And at that point, a hunter might be able to just kill him.
But feed.
Oh no!
That's so unfortunate. Feed is back, so we could probably count on a feed coming in.
Does Seward try to jump on Dracula here? Does he just run into Alicante on the assumption that Van Helsing can join him? Because he can't get to Florence, right? So, or does he just like slow the game down? He goes to like Saragossa, he just deals with the trial. Or does he like go for Dracula right now? I feel like Dracula might have a fog in Alicante, if that is where he is. It would not be crazy to me.
What?
He's backing up. Okay. He thought Dracula double back, maybe?
Yeah, but at this point, I don't think you can really make that assumption without just losing way too much efficiency here.
Let's think about it this way. If he did horse into Spain, and let's say Dracula had gone, let's say he goes to Alicante and Dracula's not there. Well, he still doesn't know that Dracula's not in Spain, right? That doesn't really tell him for sure that he's there or not, because he could have gone Madrid, he could have gone Santander, he could have gone Barcelona. And then let's say he is in 15, and then he moved to Paris, you know.
The good news is there's really not much difference between 10 and 11 points.
Oh, there is. There's a world of difference. Now we're in the point. I mean, if you get one more reckless bite, and I feel like that's not that hard, given that
Yeah. That's a good point.
we're getting into some real dangerous territory here. I think that you're right that 11, 10 and 11, you're winning by the same number of like land moves after Fury. I agree. I think that as soon as you start getting that he's 2 points away, ooh, that's nice.
If you have, okay, it's not Madrid. If you have surprising return here, that could be really big because you could maybe catch Dracula in a fight with Sister Agatha there to help, and then surprising return Rufus in after he goes to sea, which could be just enough, assuming this Florence card doesn't end the game.
Yeah, I think that maybe Aerol is jumping at Chow's a little bit. He's really worried. He doesn't want to get tricked, right? He doesn't want to move all his people into Spain, and then Dracula's not actually there, so he's checking 15 to make sure that isn't possible. The real issue there, right, is that Seward was the point man. He was the guy who was going to get into Spain, and now he's moving in the opposite direction.
Right.
You know, and now next turn, guess what he's going to do? He's going to go back into Spain, and then that means that he's like, look at how many events are left in the file. Admittedly,
Spain, but not enough to get to Dracula.
Right, it's just slowing the game down. And maybe the hunters are happy about that, but the issue with the slow game is the slow game favors the Dracula when, you know, they have all the cards. And right now, the hunters are a little bit undersupplied. Partially because there's been a little bit of movement that maybe wasn't entirely, like, you know, there's been some guesswork about where Dracula is that has turned out to be false, which meant they've had to, like, move and then move back. But I think also, like, there's, I don't mean to be, I'm not trying to be Aerol here. There's been a little bit of inefficient movement in general, I think. Like the Van Helsing to Edinburgh thing is sticking with me from the beginning of the game. Like that's just a day action that was kind of discarded. It's they're a little bit undersupplied from where they want to be, which makes you kind of want to get Dracula sooner. So his end game power of I just go to sea and win isn't really a possibility anymore. Uh, it's rough. The Hunters have had a rough go of it, and now they have a lot of pressure on them because they have all these. They have two new vampires. They're definitely going to be in Spain unless they're in the deck. And Scott Sword is right. The difference between 10 and 11. If he's 11 and he plays Third Renewed Vigor, he then, he then won't. Wait, what did he say? Right. If it then the new vampire won't win the game, right? Because it only gives 3 points. So
Well,
yeah,
at
that's why
least we
that
know
10 to 11 point
Dracula's
matters.
not in 31.
He's not in
Those evil
31.
presence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's not in
He did
Lisbon.
check Madrid, so we knew for sure he wasn't in 31 anyway. But that's doubly, it's good to check
Oh,
these things for
oh,
sure.
right, right. Well, he didn't use the
Uh,
living evil presences, of course.
oh yeah, it's the luck of the draw, right?
What is gonna happen?
I think he's hiding in Alicante right now. Because I don't think you move into, if you're in Alicante, I don't think you can move into 26. I just think 26 is a death trap potentially. You don't want to get CG'd into having to move into like,
You're all,
I don't know.
yes, and you're also moving towards the South Atlantic.
Right, which is not where you want to be. You
Right.
want to be med.
On the other hand, there is always the notion that okay, if your first C zone is South Atlantic and then you play one more C zone, you're splitting them up between the North Atlantic and the Med, right? Whereas if you just go Med and then move one more C zone, it's kind of obvious that you didn't go South Atlantic,
That
right?
is true, especially
Especially
if
if
he's
you
flying like,
land right afterwards.
yeah, and if there is maybe something to be said about rather than just going med and wolf forming, if you go south like and move one space, you are wasting more time, right? Like time is progressing while you go from the less advantageous sea space to the more advantageous sea space. So maybe you want to be spending more time at sea, so there's less time the hunters can get you, less time they have to get you once you're back on land.
For all its faults, the sea does provide Dracula a degree of safety, and that's
Hmm.
kind of the whole idea behind it. But now what? Now I think you go to sea.
If he's in Alicante, I think he has to go see. If he actually went Saragossa, Alicante, and he hit there, I don't think you can stay on land unless you have a iron constitution and you think that you can just feed and let the hunters fall on you as you fog them, and it's gonna be fine because they definitely wouldn't have forewarned because they're
Yeah,
only 26 yards deep, so you can feed here, right?
it's
They would never have gotten lucky.
kind of like taking a huge risk, though.
Okay,
I
so he's
mean,
moving
what
again.
if he just plays renewed vigor and jumps on you and forewarns your fog, and that's it?
Yeah, I agree. I think that the feed is maybe a little bit greedy, but it's not what he's doing. It looks like maybe he went to Alicante and then he went to Madrid the day after, and
That's a
now
gut
he's moving
check.
to his E zone. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now based on this move. Because I
Here's
don't
your
know.
here's
Ooh,
renewed vigor.
okay.
I don't blame this. I don't blame him for this at all. I think you got to do something and do it soon.
Oh, and he's even burning his surprising return to check a
Think.
space
I
right
mean,
now.
think
That is
it's
a real
Tuesday.
cost.
It's okay. You got it. It's Cadiz.
He got it. Okay. Did Dracula fog there? Or did he put a real vampire and then he was
That's
gonna
the
hide in
question.
fog?
That's the question.
Because this is a lot. I don't know if I would have expected to get surprise return to Cadiz right now. I think if I'm Dracula, I'm thinking that they're gonna. Okay, D's nuts joke. Good job, Harbalin. I'm thinking they're gonna save that for when I go back to sea, if they have it. Um, but Errol is rolling the dice right now.
I I mean, it's a tough call, right? Because if you renewed vigor now, you're kind of taking a risk. But if you let Dracula go to sea, you're hoping that you're gonna renewed vigor and catch him landing in Italy or something like that. Because he's unlikely to sail all the way to the Ionian, right? But what if he goes to Ireland or something like that, and all of a sudden it's kind of just too late to really do anything about it if you don't have consecrated ground. which I don't think he does, judging by the way he's been playing his Heavenly Host. That being said, he was also kind of in a situation where it was Heavenly Host or lose the game. But even before that, he was playing his Heavenly Host, right? So unless things could have changed since then, though, you know, he might have picked it up along the way. But I'm getting a read of no CG, which means what happens if Dracula goes to Ireland, and then you just you can't get everybody there in time because you still have to deal with the trail.
Van Helsing only has one event, which he just played. So if there is a fog, it is guaranteed to work.
That sense of emergency right there. Yeah, and if Dracula picks up on that, he'll know to fog now. There it is.
Yeah.
Ooh, really
and now the renewed vigor feels pretty bad.
Yes.
I mean, it's still going to be good because it's renewed vigor, but it's not going to be the killing blow that you were hoping for.
No. And Godalming's horse just cannot
and
get
his horse
together.
Is still failing. What is going on, Godalming? Did you piss off your stable hand? What is going on right now with that horse?
Come on down to Honest John's Fast Horses Emporium. We got low prices on discount horses.
Godalming is really stressed out. He's like, just give me whatever horse you got, and he just keeps getting the bad one.
That's unfortunate.
He keeps trading it back in and just getting an equally bad horse. It's like, he's like, is this the same horse? And feels like the horse I had 2 weeks ago. The birthmark is the same. How did you get it all the way from the east over here into Spain? No.
Yeah. Some solid play from Drac here. I mean, now,
Whoa, what is the 31 move?
Here.
Why are we going to 31 with Seward?
I don't know. If Dracula
that
feeds,
feels weird to me.
If Dracula feeds, it's not like you could do anything about that.
Well, it's just like you're pounding on the window. Yeah. Like, you can't get in there. Cadiz is fogged off for, forever. I mean, not forever, but like 2 turns.
Both of them playing their combat cards immediately, right off the rip.
They both know what's going on here. Okay, Van Helsing leaves. He only actually has 2 item cards, looking at it, so he's not in a great spot to fight Dracula in any case.
He's also at 1 health.
And he's delayed because he got fogged during the day.
Oh, so
there's going to be...
He's holding on to CG. He can't play it tonight.
Well, he has no events, right? He is just defenseless right now, and there is nothing he can do. Dracula's just going to feed on top of him and kill him.
Escape route off of anybody or anything like that.
He's so vulnerable right now. He can't trade. He can't supply tonight. He can't do anything but sit there and wait for Dracula to feed on top of him in the complete safety of his fog, knowing that no one else can get on him. I would feed in a heartbeat here. It would not even be a decision. Van Helsing is at 1 HP with 2 items.
Looks like Dracula is holding all the cards right now.
It is a win con. You have to deal 1 damage to the old man who has only 2 cards to stop you with. Granted, you don't know what they are, so he could play pitch perfectly right now and just somehow stop you from killing him. I suppose it's possible, but I think that even if he somehow lives, you're still in a fine position. Even if Van Helsing doesn't die here, you're in a good position.
Yeah, the feed's definitely a no-brainer. So
wow,
he did go Saragossa, Alicante, and then probably Madrid, although possibly Granada.
You could have Granada, it's possible.
Oh, and he fed.
Great strength. Okay.
Oh, and Dracula will suffer 2 damage because of Sister Agatha.
Yeah. Well, right. He'll go back down to 12. That's true. He won't gain HP off this interaction, but now he has an action. So Van Helsing can supply, maybe. He could, trade with someone else who has an escape route. There are now options here. Now that he didn't die in the initial combat.
And forces Dracula to go to sea.
Well, CG wouldn't matter, right? He wouldn't be able to play it before the dawn combat, or the dusk combat.
Yeah, of course.
That's huge, though, that he lives there. I mean, it's still not great for the hunters, but there are chances now where before a lot of what they had didn't really matter. And now if they have escape route, Van Helsing will be able to live here. And even if they don't have escape route, he could supply and hit one. There's a hunter event on top. And I think that he's going for it.
I mean, yeah, you might as well.
That's not helpful.
Oh,
yeah,
shucks.
That is not great. And he didn't even have a fog in his hand.
If only that
So
had come out a little earlier, but
yeah.
nothing you can do about it.
That's the issue with like using that sense of emergency there of Van Helsing because you have no events left in your hand because you only had the one. There is no confusion on Dracula's end. He knows exactly what he needs to do,
It becomes
right? He would do the same
extremely
thing 10 times out of 10.
deterministic for Dracula. Agreed.
It's
You don't
it's
have
just
any
it's real
more.
rough.
You gotta not to be critical in any way. I mean, you're in a tough spot, but maybe the solution here was a bit more gamesmanship on the part of the hunters.
Hear me out here.
As, getting Dracula to actually have to make some guesses about.
I was saying he could have drawn
Holy.
Holy Circle, but there are no Holy Circles left. They're both in the discard pile, so no Holy Circle to save them today.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Good item, Holy Circle. It's a great
Errol's
card.
calling it he got unlucky here.
It's a great card.
And I agree the horse is screwed going. Yes.
There's the Mesmerize. Holy Circle is a great card for the more aggressive style of play because you can afford to jump on to Dracula's location without worrying about him getting away as a bat or killing you. You sort of rob him of all his leverage in the fight.
Did he escape? Oh, if he escapes there, he actually lives. That's crazy. But it's so hard to play escape there, right? Because Dracula is so incentivized to play an attack card if he has one. Like, I don't blame Errol for dying to that. I mean, that was kind of like a coin flip. And he's more likely to play there's twice as many attack cards as there are strengths left in that deck. I guess there's 3 because he played a claws, right? So it's like a claw and 2 fangs versus 2 strengths. So, and Tarvala is more likely to play a claw if he has it because he thinks that you won't think that he won't play a claw because there's only one left in the deck. At least that's how I would be thinking if I'm Aerolb right now. Or if I'm the vampire, I'd say.
Good game. Strong show from Dracula. It's an uphill battle for the hunters. Sometimes that's just the way it pans out.
He did escape round 2. I'm dumb. I thought he dodged. No, he dodged round 1 into a claw and then escaped round 2. So he couldn't escape round 3. That's why he played strength. This all makes sense now. And he played pistol to stop the plot, right? So if you think that the hunter's just gonna, dodge and Dracula's gonna plot, pistol did play around that as well.
Right. And you never know, Dracula might not have the card to actually damage you, in which case pistol comes out nicely. Or maybe his only option to damage you is the claws.
I do agree he should have sent in Seward first, even if, I don't know if there was a forewarned, maybe they just didn't have one. But if there is a forewarned on Seward goes in first. You can then trade the forewarned to Van Helsing before you sense of emergency him in, right? There's ways if you do have the forewarned to switch around. If you don't, you're just kind of rolling the dice that he does not have the fog.
It's a very tough situation because Dracula's influence was getting out of hand. It was already Wednesday of week 3. He's about to feed, or if he's not going to do it then, he's going to do it in Cagliari. I can see how his hand felt sort of forced, and knowing when to go all in. Yeah, I mean, you can never really be sure. Do I go all in now with the renewed vigor and just go for it, or should I wait until after Dracula goes to sea and lands somewhere? But maybe you're not going to actually have enough time because, like I said, the influence is getting out of control. There's very little time left on the clock. Between a rock and a hard place, for sure.
I guess I feel like if you're when you're facing a decision like that, where do I go in here or not? What kind of tips the balance for me is how well equipped are my hunters to actually do this? Let's say there is a fog there. Am I just dead in the water to the fog? And if the answer to that question is yes, maybe I just try to wait until I have a later fight. Maybe I do it before warned, or maybe I do have an opportunity. Now, granted, it's easy to say that because, we know that there's a fog there and we know that he's going to play it. So, hindsight is hugely powerful, and it's kind of hard to be like, well, he should have done this when we now know what the truth was. Because I kind of thought there might not be a fog Cadiz. I was thinking maybe Tarvala, there was probably a fog in Alicante when he went there. It's did he play both fogs? I think he did. I think there was a fog in Alicante and a fog in Cadiz, and he just didn't want to sit on top of his fog because he wanted to spend more time in Spain.
Right.
That's my judgment there.
That sounds pretty plausible. Yeah. you're hoping like okay, we found him, maybe we caught him with his pants down here, but it's really tough to say, because what you really want to happen is you knock out the trail, Dracula goes to sea, and then you catch him after he lands with renewed vigor, surprising return, and all that other stuff upon landing, and then you finish out the game there. But when Dracula has so many points, that option starts to look less and less appealing, because what happens if he put down a vampire? Well, you have to kill it or it's game over. Meanwhile, he's 3 sea zones away, landing in Munich or landing in Sofia or something like that. And by then, you're so committed to dealing with the trail, there's not really anything you can do about it. But, I mean, I guess your only option at that point is hopefully get a CG and maybe catch him in a Dracula error.
Yeah, and it's really tough, right? Because you don't want to be playing the game where you have to go after every single encounter because you can't let anything go, no matter how innocuous,
Right.
because you don't know what they are. And then you're also trying to be ahead of Dracula because he's gone to sea. It's a rough spot to be in, right? You don't want to be there. It's bad. I think that the call Errol made of "I'm going to try to kill him right now," it could have worked, right? Like that
Mm-hmm.
plan could have worked. It didn't in this instance. So it's easy to say, oh, that was the wrong idea. I think that the idea of Dracula is probably going to win the long game because he's in a strong position, and I just need to try to get him now. I don't think it's terrible.
No.
I mean, there are games that I've won where I've been like, if I fail at this moment, I'm going to lose the game. Like this is my shot. I'm going to take it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just a question of judgment. When is that like, because that kind of action, it is very high risk, high reward, right? You're essentially putting it all, you're throwing in all the marbles, right? And you just need to make the judgment, is this the best time to use all of my capital? Like the best time to put the best thing I can put my resources forward. And Errol probably felt pretty desperate because he was in a bad spot. He said, this is the best I'm going to get. I'm going to go for it. Didn't end up working out, but in another world it could have.
Yeah. Another thing that exacerbated the problem for him is because Dracula got so many points so early, night actions, which are normally not seen as super valuable, but the value of them does add up significantly. The whole night action economy was kind of in tatters. Like, if the days following up to the point where they found him in Cadiz, right? If the last 4 or 5 days before that had been hunters resting up to full health, Van Helsing trading the events around to where they need to be, right? Things like that, the tickets getting straightened out. If those nights ahead of that final confrontation had been more available to the hunters, there might have been more ducks in a row, so to speak, and then the final attack would have been better prepared. But you don't really have that option, like I said, when every single card is a card that could win, every single encounter, that is to say, is one that could win the game. And you have to spend your night actions dealing with those encounters, and then you spend your other ones healing up because your hunter's at 2 HP.
Well, and I just think the back and forth movement really hurt Arrow here. Like you start Van Helsing in London, you then move him up to Edinburgh. I think that's a little bit of a mistake. You then like Godalming moving back to check Bologna. If you wanted to check Bologna, right, you shouldn't have
Go
moved him
there
all the way up
first.
to a space where he wasn't
Yeah.
going to be anyway, right? Because he was never going to be in, where was it, like Zagreb, the place right before Munich as you're going down and left, right, down and right into Austria-Hungary. He was never going to be there, right? And that's where Godalming moved. And he moved there, just moved back to Bologna. So again, like a little bit of inefficiency, and then
Mm-hmm.
like
The
Seward
Toulouse, the
moving to check.
Clermont-Ferrand check.
Right, he checked Clermont-Ferrand, and because let's say hypothetically, right, Dracula was in Clermont-Ferrand. He has outfoxed the hunters. He's not actually in Spain. If you're worried about that, what you do is you check Saragossa to be sure he actually went to Spain, right? Because if you check Saragossa and he's not there,
Now you know.
what does that mean? It means he went to Clermont-Ferrand, and now all the other hunters who are not in Spain because they're all in like Italy dealing with the Italian trail, now they can all just go towards France because they don't need to go into Spain because he's not there, right? Whereas if you check Clermont-Ferrand and he's not in Clermont-Ferrand, like we saw, now Seward is again he was the closest guy to Dracula, and
Now his positioning's
now
all
he's
messed
moving
up.
away,
Yeah,
right? He's moved further away.
the it also allowed Dracula like the safety, like the knowledge to know, like, oh, I saw Seward move away. I think I'll stay in Spain an additional turn, right? Because
Well,
now
that's the day he
Seward's
went
out
to
of the
Madrid,
game.
I think. He went to Madrid, I think, the day that Seward moved away
Well, it was
to
also
Clermont-Ferrand.
checked by a search, so like, also, classic crafty
Right.
Dracula move. I'll move right there now.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, I tend to agree. You need to strongly consider positioning and who is in a position to threaten Dracula and who is not. And also, you need to consider worst case scenarios, right? Dracula moving to Clermont-Ferrand, as you put it, really, it was not a worst case scenario because you have other hunters who can now move in on him. You've got Van Helsing, you've got Mina, you've got Godalming. Whereas if Dracula is moving further and further into Spain, the game will be shortly over once he goes to sea, right?
Right.
But of
And I
course,
think
easily
it's
said
just
or done.
about, like, right, looking at those worst case scenarios of, like, because Aerolb moved there thinking that he was there, right? That's why he went to Clermont-Ferrand. He was thinking that maybe Dracula doubled back. But if we think through, if Dracula doubled back, right, and I'm worried about him doubling back, moving to Saragossa gives me the same knowledge that yes, you double back, and it doesn't move super far out of position. Or there's other hunters who can engage with Dracula. Granted, it does move him out of position, right? Because he's moving into Spain and Dracula isn't in Spain. But crucially, the other hunters are now closer to Dracula. Or they're not actually closer because it's not like Dracula moved based on that knowledge. But if he didn't go into Spain, everybody else is now closer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a better option than going to Clermont-Ferrand, him not being there, and now no one is close to Dracula, right? Because he didn't end up actually, he just went into Spain, which I think is more likely. I think like 9 times out of 10, maybe not 9 times out of 10. I think it's more likely than not that he goes to Spain there because you just want to make the safe play. You just want to move away. You just want to make distance.
It goes back to, it's like they say in poker, you don't play the cards, you play the opponent. And a large part of playing the opponent in this game, particularly when your opponent is Dracula, is using your knowledge of what he has already done to try to inform your future decisions. Now, granted, Dracula could decide at any moment to stop being tricky and instead do the more obvious play. And same in reverse. He could decide at any moment to stop being direct and efficient and instead try to do something really tricky. But, you watch back the game and you think, what did Dracula do that whole game? Pretty conventional movement, right? Pretty conventional movement to take him further away from the hunters, and the old
Venice was
straight
kind of
line
sneaky
movement. Yeah,
outside
a
of
little
Venice.
bit, but I mean, yeah, not that crazy. It's not
Right.
like he hid in Florence or wolf formed to Prague or something like that. You go off of like,
Right.
what has he done this game? He has basically made a straight line all the way from Constanta to Toulouse.
To the opposite end of the
More or
board.
less. He has basically just done a beeline, right? So if you go off of that, sorry, I got a dog barking. But if you go off of that assumption, you can kind of try to extrapolate what's he going to do next. He's going to continue to do the safe thing, which is to head into Spain at that point. Yeah.
And I don't mean to ride that Earl here, right? Like we've all made
Very
decisions in
hard
games that
game.
we think are that we look back and we're like, how could we have made that decision, right? Like it wasn't the right one, and it's easy to say that, in the commentary booths with the power of hindsight. That there are plenty of things I've done in games where I'm like facepalm. The obvious move's obvious. I should have done the other thing, or I should, I made an incorrect decision. That has happened more times than I can count. These things happen.
Particularly
And
when the
it's
pressure
just
is on and the influence is so high. Yeah.
right. And there was some unluckiness there. Like I think Arrow could have done more, but also like Godalming rolling a 1 like 3 times in a row is kind of ridiculous. Like he should have been able to get to Venice with his stake. I assume he had.
Whole
He didn't
game
actually
could
have to
been
use it on
different
anything.
at that point. Mina's not so damaged. She has a heavenly host and a knife. Yeah, whole game.
Yeah, so Arrow kind of got like, you got a kick in the seat of the pants there with that horse. And then, Yeah, unfortunately, just it looks like the rail didn't line up for Seward to get into Constanta. Like he moved to Bucharest instead of Constanta. He probably didn't have a yellow two ticket, which is unfortunate because it meant that he wasn't able to deal with the vampire. Because if he gets to Constanta a day earlier, he can stop the rumored vampire, right? Like it's a possibility that he can kill it. Or actually, it's aristocratic. He would have stopped it 100% of the time. I assume if he had went after it. Maybe he thinks that he can't because it's a fighter vampire. But if he goes for it, he will succeed. And
Hide,
it's just that the tickets didn't line up.
yeah, hide trick can be really tough like that, because you don't have the forewarned. You might not have everything you need to deal with it.
Yeah, it feels like the tickets were not on Errol's side this game. Although he did, I think his supplies were actually maybe a tad above average. He got two newspapers to reveal the two spaces. I think both of them were pretty good when they got drawn. I mean, he got Agatha, and he got two surprising returns, and he got a second ally to use them both with. Although, granted, maybe a little bit late in the game when he drew the second ally. So, would have been nice if he'd gotten that earlier. He had a renewed vigor. The event deck was not a complete jerk, but it just did not. I mean, I don't know if he had a forewarned or not. I think if he has a forewarned there, there's chances. If he doesn't, it's rough. And he was only like 28 cards deep, so the chance that he also had a forewarned is not crazy high. It's
Very
rough.
good game. Very, very tough spot.
Oh yeah,
But hey,
lots
I
of
mean,
swingy things there.
we've seen a lot of Hunter wins this tournament. It's it's always unfortunate to be the Hunter player in a situation like that where Dracula just has this massive advantage. But it's also a good sign for the game because there's just as many games where Dracula is sort of playing from behind the entire time. It just speaks to how great this game is, that you really never know what you're getting in for. Is Dracula going to get beaten down really early and be crippled the whole rest of the game, or is he going to be in this cackling evil position where he's just rubbing his hands together like in the picture? Never know.
Yeah, we got to see a bite token, and we got to see like a hunter defeated by Dracula in like the late game, which I think is both of those things are kind of interesting and cool. It's not the standard I have a Dracula and I went to sea and won via like moving on land a couple times after they couldn't find me. Like that's a unique ending to a game. Like, I remember one game where there was a Godalming in Valona and he got fogged and then Dracula killed him to end the game. And it's just it feels like a really satisfying way to end games.
Yeah.
Just when like Hunter gets fogged, he gets repeatedly fogged in combat. It happened to Gyro, it happened to
It's happened to all of us. You did
it's
it
happened
to
to all of
me.
us. Yeah.
You sweet boy.
Yeah, just that game sticks out to me. But yeah, fun things happen to this game for sure. Like it's definitely like
action packed.
Very, very, very cool.
Yeah, there was a lot of desperate
a lot of
moments,
fights.
and Aerol with the Heavenly Host killing the Reckless Vampire and saving the game.
Oh, yeah.
Very clutch move.
Yeah, because that game could have been over before it started. Before we even were like Spain could have been irrelevant. The game could have ended there if because of those bad horse rolls that he kept getting. Very sad.
Couldn't get the right guy to the right place. That was just really unfortunate. I'm sure he had the stake to kill it too.
He must have, because he was the guy going after the rumor token. I feel like in my bones, he probably had a stake.
Yeah. Plus,
I don't think Seward did.
He never. Well, no, he did. No, that's right. The first Reckless and Sophia got cleared off the trail with the Mature of the Aristocratic. So it's highly likely that he did still have the stake probably from the very beginning of the game and just never got to stake anything with it.
I think Seward didn't have one. I think if Seward had a stake, he would use it on the hoax. But
is it still a stake if it doesn't kill a vampire? Or is it just a pointy stick?
I do wonder what happens to the stake that gets stopped by the hoax. Like, what is destroying the stake? Because you try to use it to stab a guy, right? And then the guy turns out to not be a vampire because it was a hoax. But the stake is still good, right? Like, it's not like, the man's body. I guess if it hits bone, maybe it shatters.
I never thought of it thematically as using it to kill an innocent man.
Well, it's a hoax. I mean, how else is the stake getting discarded? You got to use it.
That's a really good question. I don't have a satisfying answer, to be honest with you. Maybe just like all the hubbub of investigating the hoax, the hunter looks down and, well, I guess I got a hole in my pocket. Like, where did my 3 foot long piece of wood
Yeah.
end up?
Maybe he stabs like a scarecrow in a coffin that he thinks is a vampire, and when he stabs to the bottom of the coffin, it just
The
breaks out of the bottom of the
point
coffin.
breaks off and it's no longer pointy. You
Mm,
don't have time to
exactly.
resharpen it.
Yeah, because
Right.
you're trying to run, you're trying to grab horses, you're trying to get a good deal from that dishonest horse salesman who keeps giving you these stupid one-move horses.
That is,
No.
forget Dracula. That guy is the true villain of this game.
Oh yeah.
Let's be serious.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Sell me a bad horse.
Those darn rail tickets.
It makes me
We got
wonder
it.
what the ticket pool looked like and just how unlucky that was.
Right, because I feel like it was the same. We kept seeing yellow,
It
yellow
was a
one, white two, I
yes,
think.
yes. I feel like it might have been the very same ticket each time. It's entirely
So I mean,
possible.
I guess there could be more than one of those in the pool. But if it like, there is 9 tickets in the pool, so there was 9 for a while. I don't know who didn't have a second ticket, but I kept noting that there was 9 as I was like looking at the pool
It's
throughout the game.
so tough to get it in order with, again, like all the action going on every night, all the searches, all the resting, need for trading. It's different when you
Yes,
have a
looks
little
like Seward
leeway
was.
before the cards mature, but when you're only finding the cards right before they fall off the trail, it's very different.
Yeah, Mina wasn't ticketing because she was supplying or healing. That's why
And
there's that
fighting
9 in the pool for a while
vampires.
there. Yeah, she was using her night actions.
Very tough. Well, thank you for joining me, Pizza Wizard. This was a fun one to watch.
Yeah, I'm always happy to co-com with you, Gyro. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Very fun time. And thank you everybody for watching, and good luck on your next game, Pizza Wizard.
Yeah, it's we're gonna play our heart out. I was really worried about this game today. Actually, I played a game against Amazon for the stream. For those of you who might not know, and I was kind of worried, but it's now in the books for better or worse. So the stress is past for this week. At least now I get to sit on the sidelines and watch everybody else play.
And good luck to all of our competitors. And thank you for competing and making this great tournament and great community what it is. And thank you again, everybody, for watching. And with that, we'll be signing off, and we'll see you next